Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, January 12th, 2023. We're here for a work session, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Frank, can you please take the lead?
Be my pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. And we have one exciting announcement. As most of you know by now, or may not, we closed on the new town hall purchase located at 4-6 West 2nd Street and 214 Griffin Avenue, also known as the Entenmann Campus, previously owned by Peconic Bay Medical Center. The buildings are strategically located between the TOD and Main Street and will be a wonderful complement to the ongoing revitalization efforts that are going on in our downtown. We anticipate completing the entire transition into the new space on 2nd Street during this year and hopefully completed by the end of the year. And this is an exciting chapter for Riverhead residents and all the employees, and we're all excited, and the town board all agreed, and we moved forward with this effort, and it was the right decision to make for our residents. This has been long in the making, 18 years, I understand, back and forth with all kinds of planning, and thousands and thousands of dollars spent on planning initiatives and possible prospective projects, and none of them came to fruition, and yet yesterday it did come. It is now a reality.
And very meaningful for the police department growth and for the courthouse growth.
Courthouse.
Yeah, so this is, like you said, a long time coming, but very necessary.
Absolutely. I just have an announcement for anybody that is interested, and I would urge the civic leaders to attend tonight in Peconic Rec Center in Southold. There'll be a representative from Albany representing NYSERDA on battery storage. This way, people will get an education on what battery storage is. It's getting pushed by the state. It's tonight at 6 o'clock at the Peconic Rec Center in Southold. And again, I urge the civic leaders so that they can educate the people in their groups. That's number one. Number two is I've also spoken to them meaning the group that is going to be presenting tonight in Southold, if they would come to a work session on January 26th. This way we are all educated on what's going on with battery storage. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to our first discussion, which is matters surrounding the police department November and December monthly reports. Chief Hagimula, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Chief.
Okay, everyone should have got the email, so you have both November and December monthly reports. And they're pretty much similar, basically up in all areas. Focus on, I think, the December one. So calls for service up, domestic incidents were down, which was good. By a lot, they went from 79 to 69. Motor vehicle accidents are pretty much status quo. Summonses are still way up, which is great. The rest are a bit skewed, the numbers, as I stated in the email. Back in November, the state required, probably earlier than that, but we started doing it in November, required us to count things a bit differently than the way we've been counting them. So our criminal incidents have increased because of that, and so have our arrests increased because of that. So basically what we're moving towards is NIBRs or IBRs, incident-based reporting. We're moving away from UCR, which I've done my whole career here. NIBRs counts every single charge or incident. In the past, UCR, if you were arrested for burglary and you have possession of burglar's tools, which would be 2 charges, we always looked at the top charge. So that was just counted as the one thing. Now they're looking at both charges.
So they're actually looking, they're it's no longer individual arrests, you're adding all charges. And so that's gonna skew this. Unfortunately, not too sure if that's the proper way of reporting crime, especially when everyone is so used to saying, okay, it was a homicide arrest, okay, the person had a gun.
Right.
But that's a charge that you charge, but you charge the top charge, and that will be that one arrest. So now, do you agree with this type of reporting, Chief?
I think some things might have been missed by UCR, so I think, you know, finding them and pointing them out or counting them, whatever you want to say, I think that might help as far as seeing differences or trends or stuff like that. It's going to increase our numbers though, so no doubt about it.
All right, is there a way, I'm just trying to brainstorm, a way of maybe identifying like individuals with the charges, so that way we can have a better understanding? Because right now, you know, some people can get charged with 10 different charges, and it'll make our crime rate seem like, wow,
Right.
you're way through the roof. So is there a way of maybe adjusting that?
I did look at, so in December, you'll see that there's 93 arrests. There was only 81 persons arrested though. So some of those people in that 81 had multiple charges on there. And the state says for every charge you do, there has to be an A number associated with it. So that's why our A numbers have increased.
I'm noticing that, I think that's car 604 in December had no arrests or no stops, but prior it did. It's on the last page.
Right, so 604, right, there were no arrests in 604 last month in December.
Is that typical that one car would just not have anything? Or was it-
604 is the Wading River sector.
Oh, okay.
It is a very residential sector, so there's not a lot of.
I see that it's low on the prior month
Right,
as well,
yeah,
but,
no,
okay.
it's not a lot of business out there. Same would be with 602, although 602 does have more business because it incorporates the east end of County Route 58,
Yeah,
so.
well, that's a good thing that it's blank.
Chief,
Yes, it's a good, yes, that's a good thing. And we noticed that, I mean, a lot of our grand larcenies are driven by the big box stores. So, you know,
Right.
if you steal something of a certain value from one of those stores, it goes into the grand larceny.
Chief, how many people, I mean, what I'd love to see on the report and for the public to see is how many people are arrested the same day or the same week. And sometimes, I know I've spoken to some of the officers, one person was arrested 3 times for the same crime in one day. Another guy was walking around, was arrested 10 times in 1 week and still walking around.
We can look at that.
I think-
Sometimes it's hard though, because if you're arrested in Southampton in the morning, and you come over here and get arrested in the afternoon,
You only got
we'll
one.
we'll probably never know that.
Right.
So, maybe in the future, so, back to the incident-based reporting, once we go to Niche, which is our next records management system, which is a county-wide records management system, we might then know you were arrested in Southampton and now you're arrested in Riverhead, so.
Okay.
And that should happen, I mean, we're way behind the deadline on that, but that should happen this year. I'm hoping maybe towards the summertime or so.
Do you think it would benefit the public if, in this report, we also added 2 columns? One is the amount of arrests, and then the amount of incidents, because,
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
yeah.
Um,
So you have, to your point, you have 86 arrests, but there's 96 incidents.
Right.
Well, not incidents, charges.
Charges.
An incident is an individual.
Well,
yeah.
I think that is reflective when I said there's 93 people arrested on the December report. Well, 93 arrests, we only had 81 people arrested though.
Okay, that's it.
So there was like, I think if I remember looking, there was maybe one person that had 6 arrest numbers by their name, same date, same time. So there's 6 different charges on that person, each one getting an arrest number.
So is there a way to indicate on this, our police department stats on a monthly basis? Can we maybe possibly put the amount of arrests and then / incidents? I think it'll give us a better understanding when we do analysis.
So, I mean, incidents are listed on here, but not every incident leads to an arrest.
Arrest.
So maybe we'll do, the number of arrests, A numbers, whatever you wanna call it, and then the number of people arrested?
Yes.
Would that help?
Yes. I think it'll help us understand.
That's where I was trying to go. So
Yeah,
that
100
it
people
was not-
arrested, but there's 250 charges.
Right.
And I think the public will be confused, and it'll help us in the long run as we're working with the statistics and,
Right, well theoretically now, so the way it is now, the number of arrests would be charges,
I know.
theoretically,
So
right?
it's deceptive.
So, right, it is, definitely.
I just have one last question. One young woman has been escaping from one of these houses. I'm not even sure which one. If it's
Timothy Hill,
Timothy or
I
if
believe
it's
it's-
the other Little Flower, I'm not sure, but it seems to be the same young lady that keeps, we get the reports, and every time I look, I'm not laughing, but every time I look, it's the same girl.
Photo,
Yeah. Is there a
There's no way,
special?
there's no way for these facilities to actually hold these people. So it's not like a lockdown and you gotta keep them there or they're in a jail cell or something like that. That's not the way it is.
Well, she's
voluntary.
particularly
So,
motivated to
right.
leave, I guess.
A lot of them are motivated to leave, so. It's an issue. We're there a lot and we're taking missing persons complaints very often, so.
and a missing persons report is very comprehensive.
Very
It's very timely, there's a ton of notifications,
Time
and
consuming.
very time consuming to take a missing persons report.
Chief, I think my last question, has anybody, or is there an organization that the state would reach out to concerning bail reform? You get any reach out from the state concerning bail reform?
With us, no, but I think the DA's office is very much on top of that issue as far as with the state, so.
Okay, that's what
With their association or whatever they are, I
That's
think
what
it's
I-
very much
thank you.
with the legislation.
And, Chief, I just want to make one mention, and you're part of this process. We are looking comprehensively at the police department. We're going to hopefully be working with the sheriff's office in the near future, and we'll report back hopefully within a month. I think we can finish our stats and our efforts and our meetings. It'll involve enhancing cameras and community input. So we have an ongoing process now, and as soon as we can complete it, we're gonna report to the public. And that should take, hopefully before a month.
Do you think maybe the 26th, do you think, I mean?
That was a date that I identified.
Yeah.
However, I'm not seeing the sheriff until 2 days before that,
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't know if it gives us enough time to put everything
Right.
together and make phone calls, and so maybe the following, we'll
Yeah.
keep it tentatively. But we're in the process of reaching out to the community, reaching out to some of the building owners, the state, who supplies funding to these locations, and it's a little bit of a comprehensive process. And thank you, Bob, for going on the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
With,
good work.
with that idea, I met with DSS yesterday, Suffolk County Department of Social Services. They were on Main Street, they have now moved to the county center, but they will be moving back to Riverhead probably in July or so.
Fine.
But they're very interested in working with us and knowing how many incidents we have at their shelters throughout
Right,
the
and
town.
we'll report all that, and
Right.
so we're engaging different levels of government and different agencies, and hopefully it's gonna work out. People are interested in hearing what we have to say, and we're out there putting the word, and in order to keep crime low, streets safe, and so we do have this big initiative, and we'll hopefully in 3 weeks or so,
So-
we'll have completed and we'll report everything to the public.
So with that, with reaching out to DSS and the shelters, are they working on plans, you know, in terms of crime?
So they want our stats, so they want to know how many times calls for service we have at these different shelters throughout the town. And then I have to report to them quarterly so they can review it and see how they can fix
And
it.
that'll be part of the whole
Right.
comprehensive effort that we're gonna report. There's a lot of moving parts, actually.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, going on right now, and it's an initiative that we have to do, and we have to take. And unfortunately, a good part of this problem has to do with the Bamboo Fall. Well, thank you, Chief.
Just, Councilman Kern, we had 18 incident animal MVAs in December, but I don't know yet whether they were dog or deer or whatever, so I'll get you that final number.
Yeah, I think it's important because the reason why I'd like to see those stats is because of what Southold has been successful at in basically culling their deer herd, and that only happened after a lot of fences went up on farms and the deer now are eating people's plants in their gardens, and then the people said, we gotta do something about this, so we need to address this here.
You always have to be aware driving, especially in the fall months, because that's when they're on the
Right.
move, so. We noticed a big spike during the fall months as far as MVA deer go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next, I'm gonna turn it over to Councilman Kern for discussion surrounding the possible formation of TDR, something that's we have tried to work and accomplish, and hopefully this is gonna be addressed fully through the comprehensive plan. And
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm gonna just ask Anne Marie to come up and also,
Good morning.
morning,
Good morning.
Good morning, Anne Marie.
Good morning.
so Anne Marie and I met with some people from the farm community and Farm Bureau with the idea of bringing back the TDR committee, especially now that we're going through the comp plan, so that we can reevaluate sending and receiving areas. Emery, do you want to?
Sure. So back in 2016, when the TDR committee was first created, it was created as a subcommittee of the Agricultural Advisory Committee. And they worked for approximately 3 years, did extensive work, reports, and recommendations. Just after, quote, it was terminated by the terms of its resolution, the town embarked on the comprehensive master plan. Specifically, when the town board discussed, and prior to retaining a firm for the comprehensive plan, we knew as a municipality that we had to address and revive transfer of development rights. In part, why? Because the town of Riverhead had been very aggressive and successful in its preservation efforts using community preservation funds. But in being aggressive and successful, we have very limited community preservation funds. Hence, the importance, the critical importance of reviving and improving our TDR program so that we continue preservation, support our agricultural heritage and community. This resolution creates it as a standalone committee because of its vital importance to the master plan and to our future zoning codes.
So I'd just like to interject that I was also a part of that meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frank
Although it omitted by Councilman Kern.
Oh, Frank,
And by the
I
way,
apologize.
That is true.
I apologize.
and by the way, I was one of those members who worked so diligently with Richard Wines and Lyle Wells and other people to try to get the TDR work done, and we really did get a lot of good work out of that committee. But I think what's different now is that we are embarking on the comprehensive plan, and it's really vital to have the committee and some of the results communicated back and forth to the companies that we've hired,
Yes.
and to let them know specifically the work that we've done and where we want to get to. So I think that's why it's really critical now to revive the committee.
Right, and they have an excellent jump-off point from their last very detailed report and recommendation to the town board. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into it and thought it through. So for them to be able to work with BFJ and sit down and go over some of those ideas, some which may be approved and recommended to move forward, others may not, but I really believe we can and will strengthen our TDR program.
And the other thing that I just will mention is that we are going to be holding these companies to a timeline. So this will really streamline the process to have people communicating what the work that has been done concisely and directly to them. That'll help the process go more speedily.
And the proposed members expressed their commitment to Councilman Kern and Bayrod
And Bayrod.
at that meeting,
Accentuate Bayrod.
that they fully understood that they had to be committed to the timeline and full participation in the process. And they're willing to do it, and they want to do it.
And I'll just add, and yes, Frank, thank you, because you're reminding me of that.
Any chance to take a shot at you, Bob?
Please do, everybody else does, that's okay. I'm the guy that wants to shovel in the ground yesterday, right? Now I lost my train of thought. I want also, with working with BFJ, TDRs, as well as what's going on Calverton is priority number one. So that we've engaged with them, they're already on it, so this committee needs to, activate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea, long time coming, and we want to thank all the members in the past who were so dedicated to this effort. Unfortunately, it never went anywhere. There was some talk it might cost $250,000 to do a study on it. People held off on it. This is the prime time to get this done, and thank you, Anne-Marie, for
Yep.
researching. I know that you're very involved with the farm community, and I think it's a great effort.
Yeah, would
Thank
the
you,
only,
Bayrod.
the only person that we really lost who's going to be irreplaceable is Mitch Pally. Mitch was the representative for Libby, and he kind of was the counterbalance between what is doable and what's not doable as far as some of these thresholds. But I understand that we're going to have a
Representative or
Representative from-
designee
yeah,
from that organization.
right.
Because it's really critical, because
Yes.
when you analyze TDRs, there's a breaking point as to.
where it doesn't work for either
Correct.
party. And we always say at Farm Bureau that there has to be a willing seller and buyer. So
Correct.
that's really what this program is all about.
Frank, I think we can still consult with
Oh, Mitch, yeah.
I'm sure
he's
when we come up with our
Yes.
plan, I'm sure he'll review it for us. I'll ask.
such a smart guy.
Yes.
I wish him the best in retirement, too.
Well-rounded,
Publicly,
from
yes.
the legislative, from the advocacy, from the lawyers, from the building perspective. I don't know another person that's as well-rounded and able as he is, and he's gonna be a loss to Libby, unfortunately. They just got a new president, so,
Great.
good. Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Okay, for our last discussion, I'm going to ask Ray Coyne, our Recreation Superintendent, our Town Attorney Eric Howard, Chief Hegemuller, and Richie Downs, the Town Investigator, to come forward to discuss matters surrounding possible implementation of an online beach sticker system via software, of a software
Bring
company,
Bill up too. so-
GoGov. Bill, if you also want to join this conversation, Ray, I'll let you introduce the topic further, please. Good morning.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ray, you don't have your tea with you.
Yeah,
I
what
drank it
happened?
already. Tell my, I need more though.
Chair, take this one.
Come on, you can get it. Well, good morning. We are here to discuss a new beach sticker process. For years and years, we're trying to streamline the process to make it much easier for the residents. With technology booming, we're trying to get caught up with the technology and allow the residents to purchase stickers online. And as I always do, I put the employees to task and to research as much as they can. Last year, we had found a system that was, Brookhaven had adopted, somewhat similar, but not so much similar. But Brookhaven went through it for a year. They didn't like the system, they got rid of it. So we said, all right, we're not gonna continue with those guys. So Rebecca Korn here, she found something called GoGov. GoGov is huge. It does everything for government, municipalities. This is just like 1/10 of what it can do, but this 1/10 helps the recreation department. And basically, it's a beach sticker, it's on the cloud, it's a beach sticker process where residents go on their computers, they fill out all the information, they upload all the information, and it comes right back to us for approval. And we'll show you how it works. And then they get a printout with a QR code. They bring that QR code to an office, to one of the beaches, they get their sticker. So we really like it. It's a database too. It'd be great for law enforcement because you could look up anybody's sticker purchase in seconds, where now it takes us a while because we have to go through, all right, let's go through this pack, see who ordered what, when, it takes us a while. Now you just pull it up with the person's name, email, or license plate. Same thing, you use your phones to scan the QR code, or you could type in the license plate. Either one, and you'll get all the customer's information on your phone. So I'm gonna let Rebecca walk you through the process, and I know we've been speaking with the chief and Rich on their questions, and I know they have some questions on it too.
Before we go on to Rebecca, how are we gonna deal with the seniors and people who don't have computers?
They could still do what they, we kept the stickers this year.
Oh, okay.
So we want to do it as a pilot system. So, so this process will still be the same. They can come in and buy a sticker any way they want. They
Right.
could still, and they can use cash with this system. I know cash was an issue, although everybody's going cashless in the world. We still have the baby boomer generation that does not like cashless. So we'll continue with allowing cash at the beaches and the offices. So
Okay,
the
great.
seniors will be taken care of.
And just before you start, and to Yvette's point, because I know I've had this conversation just recently with Bill and also with Jim, would it make sense that if somebody went to, there was a meeting set up at the senior center, right? And then you can just input everybody to make it a little bit easier so they don't have to travel?
I'm happy you said that, because what happens is, which is the feature I like the most, is that once you're in the system then automatically renews you if you want. So
That was gonna be
takes
my
us
question,
totally
too.
out of the
Yep.
process.
That's great.
So the following year, it'll send the resident an email, and do you want to renew your sticker? Yes, blah, done. So it'll
Automatic.
save us an enormous amount of time. The resident will like it much better because it's so easy for them. You don't realize how many people come in our office for beach stickers.
No, I think this would also be great for rental permits, right? Or, just for renewals as well.
Yeah, it is a huge system. GoGov is huge.
I was
Yeah.
just researching GoGov, and I brought it up to Chip, and, but anyway, I don't wanna, go ahead.
No, it's great. We want to hear all the concerns,
I
right?
think I was told, it was brought to my attention, I believe Huntington is using GoGov.
There are other municipalities that use it, yes, I
Yeah,
believe so.
And I was looking at it, so I love the whole idea. I'd like to get the water system, Mr. Mintz, no more, eliminating a lot of their bills and getting people on auto pay is costing us $35,000 a year just in postage, not to mention all the handwork.
Right.
So,
So,
Not this. It was
as far as us, this is,
the gates go off.
as beach stickers go, it's really, straightforward.
Go for them.
You log in, you type in your, step one, you log in, I have just a little pictures and all. Just like Ray said, you
you're
put,
getting picked up on the mic, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so you log in, you can also upload your relevant documentation, like your, registration, proof of residency, license plate, things of that nature. You will immediately get, then you're prompted to pay, and then you'll get an email confirmation saying, yeah, you went through the whole process. What's really great about this is, if you're familiar with technology, or if you're not familiar with technology, it's like a very simplified platform. If you see at the bottom corner, it has like this little, it has a timeline, so it tells you exactly where you are in the process. That kind of eliminates you having to call in and say, hey, I ordered my sticker online and it hasn't been mailed to me yet, what happened? You can go in and see where you are on the timeline. There you go. No, it's all right. And then all your conversation with the staff is right there. So you can see any conversation any recreation staff member has, we're all on the same page now. Regardless if it was, you know, one of our weekend people at the booths or someone in office, you can see every correspondence you've
What
had.
would prompt those conversations?
Something like, you know, I ordered my sticker online, I haven't seen it, or maybe you uploaded a registration that was expired, and we had to write back, sorry, we couldn't approve your beach sticker because your registration expired, please upload a new registration.
Yeah,
Things of that nature.
everything is live, which we like, it's in real time. So once they do it, we get it, and we could, you know, decline, accept, or question, and it's like they get a red light or green light. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And then it also helps because you don't have to wait till Monday to call in. You can just type in. It's like, oh, I want to go to the beach today. I wonder what the status is. You can go on and it's right there for you. Once everything's approved, you get it in email. Your email has a QR code in it. It says, here's your beach sticker. Please bring this down to the beach. And then the attendants there on the weekend or after hours, if, you know, say someone didn't get to our offices, can say, oh, yep, here's your QR code. They pick up their cell phone, they scan it with their cell phone, it's right there. They can show payment and write out the sticker for them. For residents who don't like to go online, they aren't tech savvy, they can still come in. We'd be happy to help them. We're still using this software.
Great.
We put everything in, it's still the same software, we put everything in for them. Say you wanted to do a senior citizen event, and you want to say like, oh, it's beach sticker day at the senior center, or beach sticker day at town hall. You know, because this is a cloud-based, a web-based platform, we can have a town laptop right here in the front, get everybody's.
So you're saying if they came and they bought their sticker with cash at one of your offices, their information would still be downloaded into the system?
Correct.
So that keeps everything
Yeah,
tied
all in
together.
one spot, which is great
It's in
for the
one
law
place.
enforcement too. They're gonna have access to it just as we have access to it.
And Richie,
Yes,
as the head of the code enforcement unit, how do you feel about this?
I think it's a good system. Anytime that we're able to communicate with a database and not have to, you know, place a phone call off hours, usually on the weekends, to verify or validate a sticker, I think it's a good thing, so.
So
And
you
Ray
think it'll,
answered
for enforcement purposes, it'll be effective?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Because I know at one time, you didn't think the other program that was suggested met your
good fit.
needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Because it would create more work. That was Passport that didn't do well in
Yeah.
Brookhaven. It created more work for the code enforcement because they literally have to get out of their car or type in the license plate number. Eventually, the system would have been better, but this just eliminates that. They could just type it right up on their computer, and the stickers will still be on the car, so.
oh,
So we'll keep that, and then we'll go through this year, pending if the board does allow us to go through with it. And then we'll work out any kinks, and then we'll discuss stickers for 2024. Should we go with the same stickers? Should we eliminate stickers? Should we go maybe a little sticker to go on the car, save us money? That would be up to the Rich and the chief of how they want to go forward with that.
and Chief, how do you feel about this program?
What's the turnaround on getting my sticker? So I put in my information, when do I get my sticker back? Or go down and get my QR code or whatever and get my sticker?
It's instant,
you have to
so
raise
you
your
can,
voice.
you
But
can.
someone has to review what's being submitted, right?
Yes, yes, so so if you're doing it on a weekend, you know, most likely we'll have somebody there to, accept it or deny it, just to make sure we can continue to move forward. So once as long as you hand in all your stuff, It'll be done right then and there, and then you can bring it to the beach, or you can bring it to the office, and we just have to scan it. So there might be times where we're backlogged, and it might take a little bit longer, but I don't see that being a problem, because since everybody has the system, everybody, including myself, will be in charge of making sure everything's done quickly.
Because I know I speak for the rest of us that we're not a fan of the QR code on the dashboard.
That I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I had a
and
question on that too.
That's a concern, and Eric brought it up as a concern as well. We could do it however you want to do it. One of the features that I liked was that, yeah, let's say we're not around on the weekend, and it does get approved, they can print out a QR code. So my suggestion was say, all right, until you can get your sticker, put the QR code on your dashboard, and the police code enforcement can scan it. Now, if that's not something, now Eric said it's not in our code, so we'd have to change that, or we can just eliminate that totally for this year and see how everything else works. I just like it because of the,
You can't go until you get your sticker.
yeah, that's, I think that's where we're leaning
Yeah.
towards.
But the QR code is just allowing them to go down with the QR code so that they can get their sticker, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
not-
takes
it's
seconds
not-
at that
It's
point.
not in place, of the sticker
No,
itself.
no.
And during the summer, theoretically, that could happen on weekends anyway,
Correct.
right? Which you go to the beach and see the tent
Yeah.
and get your sticker.
Yeah, we're open, all 7 days during the beach season, so that wouldn't be a problem, yes.
And it's web-based, so how do we access this? I'm a police officer at the beach, how do I access the system?
We'll provide you with the information, it's just going on to a, just typing in the address, and we'll give you the codes and everything.
Credentials, do I need credentials to get on it? or
We'll,
it's
we'll
just-
provide you with them.
So there's not an app that's attached to this? It's, you would have to,
It's just web-based, yeah, this isn't in an app currently. GoGov does offer apps, but this is just web-based, so you can type in www.riverhead.gov.
that's one question. Second question, is there any reason why we wouldn't do this with boat slips as well? Because it seems to me, and I'm gonna ask code and police, right? You know, currently, none of those boats have stickers that they've paid for a slip.
No, they do,
Oh, do they?
yeah,
Okay, so could we do this with boat slips as
we
well?
can, and that's
Okay.
something we're gonna look into. We wanted to, start with this, make
Okay.
sure it was approved, and like I said, GoGov has different features, as you probably saw, for government, which is amazing.
It's, yeah.
One of the things too that we discussed, and we'll come to you soon with it, they develop apps. And we really wanted an app for the recreation department, and it's very cost effective for them to do the app. They're a local company, I think they're in Patchogue.
They're in Patchogue.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned costs. I'm concerned, or just curious about what is the cost to use this, and are there savings that could be realized?
Yeah, the cost, they quoted us, I think, at a little bit over $5,000 for the year. That is within my budget now, because we hold that money, we hold $8,000 for the beach stickers itself. We actually spent $8 to $10 grand on the beach sticker purchase itself. Now, we already purchased the stickers for 2023, so we have used the 2022 budget to do so. So we have that money available to use for this purpose, and then we'd have to figure out what kind of sticker we're gonna go to in 2024, if we go to sticker.
So just, now another thing, how much time do you think this will save you?
An immense amount of time.
Give me some idea, like 10 hours a season, 20, 30, 40, 50?
So right now on our current recreation software platform that we're manipulating to issue beach stickers, it takes on average 8 minutes to sell a single sticker.
And how many stickers are we selling, like,
What did I tell you, 9,000?
roughly?
9,300 in 2023.
Okay, so 9,300, let's look at what that is.
And when you come May 1st, everybody's at our door, out the door.
Not to
putting
mention that you
stickers,
can
yeah.
automatically renew next year.
That's my favorite feature.
That's, you know,
They won't be
that-
coming back to
I
our
agree,
office.
I like that. Yep.
And then you also eliminate, like, you know, if you're busy and you have a family and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I forgot my sticker, and all of a sudden it's Memorial Day weekend, if you get that automatic renewal email, you're set for
My
the season.
daughter had an incident with that just this year.
Yeah,
It's 1,240 hours from what you're saying. This is a no-brainer to me. You know, that's a lot of hours.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
it would increase our productivity as a department overall
So-
immensely.
And it's great for the courts too, because we get calls all the time, did this person purchase a sticker, did this person purchase a sticker? We'll give them the access too, so they can just pull it right out.
Oh, great.
That's even better. Bill, how does this integrate, you know, with what we have now, or does it?
Well, I don't know if it does integrate. I'm assuming they're either gonna let me know how it does. I mean, with Edmunds, I'm not sure. Edmunds will accept a CSV file on some of this stuff. We can just import it as a journal entry. But if it's a report, a summary of a report when they send over the money, then we can, that's how we do a lot of recording of these programs that don't integrate with our software.
Because I'm looking at code with like the rental permits, right? Right now, they come in writing, they're inputting them, they're going into a database in Edmunds. So you don't have the ability to automatically renew it. You know, we're looking at, and I don't know, this is probably a topic for another day, but how many hours that's taking, and, you know, the savings is, we have to move to technology, you know, for everybody's benefit. You could get a lot more done right in your department, not having to spend 1,270 hours per, or 40 hours processing beach permits. That should be like that.
Yeah, and as far as our communication with accounting, right now what we do is we send monthly reports from our RecPro system, and mainly for the credit cards. RecPro lists the amount of credit card money we spent. We write that down, sign it, and then they take it from there. So they take the funds out of the account and put it in the appropriate accounts. This will do the same thing. We'll just print this out however accounting wants it. They want it weekly, they want it monthly, they want it quarterly. We just print it out, sign off that this is the amount that we received, and then they go from there.
So what do you do in terms of credit cards? Because that's another issue, right? If you take a credit card for $20, right, okay, and now we're paying the percentage on that card, correct?
No, they are. It's passed over to the customer.
Okay, you got it, okay. That's my-
I have a question. You mentioned that the QR code is uploaded.
They got a QR code.
Right, so what happens if people duplicate it and put it on the dashboard? So I get
It's unique to each user. They can't duplicate it.
you could copy it?
You can, but when you scan it, it'll come up with the other person's address.
And license
Yeah, but
plate.
now it's valid, and,
No, but if they scan it, well, first of all, I don't think we're going with the QR codes on the cars anyway. But if they
Okay.
scanned it, they would look at the license plate of the car and the license plate on the QR code, and it would be different.
Right. So you did it all at home, you print it out, you have a QR code, you roll up to Iron Pier, there's an attendant in the window, the attendant leans out, scans your QR code, says, okay, so this is for a black Chevrolet Volt, this is the license plate, this is a black Chevrolet Volt, that's the license plate,
I know what you're talking about now.
write the sticker,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah, I know what you're, I'm sorry,
So
I
how
thought
do
you
you
meant with
s-
the enforcement part of it.
How do you associate that sticker permit number with that QR code now?
So the QR code was just to pick up your sticker, and then the permit, you know, the sticker number will be in the software, so if you see like how it
Someone
lists.
has to go back in and put it in the system.
Yeah,
So
the
when-
stickers
when
are
you-
pre-numbered, and they would help us integrate the pre-numbering into the stickers
Is that gonna
itself.
happen immediately?
Yes.
Yeah.
and
That's
where is
what
the
you were
Q?
asking.
Yeah, where's the QR code going?
They just print it out like a receipt, and the QR code goes right on the receipt. There's something in the packet that'll show you what the receipt would look like. And so, as supervisor, I know what you were asking. If somebody, say, I buy a sticker, I give it to my friend goes to the recreation department with we're gonna ask for ID. So, just to confirm that person's that person.
Yeah, anybody can print it, yeah,
Yeah, so,
and have it available, so, okay.
So you would basically need your receipt, a form of ID, to pick up your sticker and
Is
stuff.
the QR code single use, so if it's scanned, the permit's issued, the QR code is made invalid?
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, don't lose your sticker.
By the company, right?
And replacement? Your car is totaled and the sticker is no good?
It's all in here, so if there's on page, on number 9, you see this is how it lists out everyone for us.
Right.
It has like a color coding, like where they are in the process, so we know exactly how many people are waiting, how many people are done. So we can look it up, say, hey, I came in, hi, my car was totaled, you know, this is my license plate number. We type in the license plate number, we see, yep, it was issued, if you had a green light, sorry to hear that, you can issue you a new sticker.
We
Great.
make you pay sometimes too.
Yes.
You gotta pay again for your stickers. Sorry, your car's total, but you gotta pay for your stickers.
We could just briefly talk about the future a little bit.
Yes.
I'm kind of old fashioned, I like to see the sticker on the car because that gives me the immediate identification that that car's good, I can go to the next one, right?
Yeah,
So in the future, if we're thinking about it coming off the license plate or something like that, we're going to need plate readers.
That's the goal.
I don't want every officer stopping there with their phone and taking a picture
I get
of
it.
the plate kind of thing.
Yeah.
It has to be completely automatic.
right.
It's my computer, it pops up, invalid, no beach sticker.
That would go a long way with the residents in the beach committee meetings that the supervisor established. That's the number one concern, is the non-residents coming in that parking lots, off hours. And when we mentioned to them, we're looking at plate readers, they went nuts. They want that in the worst way.
You know, I'm
Yeah,
glad
plate
that
reader
you,
with a gate on it.
Yeah, the gate will go up, and if you're non-resident, you can't come in.
Right.
I'm glad that you reach out to them because that's a very active committee.
They're very good.
We formed it under COVID and they're very, very engaged and kudos to you for reaching out to them on this
Yeah,
effort. Thank you.
listen, any help we can get, and they're at the beaches itself, especially Wading River's a very advocate of the beaches, and
Yeah.
we hear it, so, but it's helped us learn to see what we can do better each year.
I know, you brought this up last year about plate readers, I remember this, when you guys came with automatic gates. What's the cost to do that versus, I understand the cost here, but what's the cost for plate readers? Because when the beaches are closed and you have gates, you can't get into the beach, right? That helps out, I think, a lot, in a lot of ways.
Correct. I think it would depend on the reader itself, whether it's like a reader that's mounted to each unit, police
Okay.
cruiser unit, or if it's mounted to the beach booth itself, the costs will vary. If we wanted to do booths, we only have so many booths in the town, that's a lower cost. If you wanted to put it on the police cruisers, that would be a more significant cost. But that is something we can look into, for sure. But the nice thing about this platform is that it can grow with us. We won't have to switch, right? So this year, we're doing printed receipts with stickers, like a hybrid deployment. You know, we see how it goes, then maybe we move to like a smaller sticker, so they still get, enforcement can still get a visual. And then, you know, from there, you know, we plan ahead, for readers, eventually.
I'm surprised Easy Pass doesn't get involved in this, seriously, right? Think about it, because they're taking the big from tolls and stuff like that, but maybe that's down the road. Great research, and
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
It's gonna, you know, you're talking about 1,240 hours, and even if it was, if you're still dealing with people who are still gonna come in and it breaks down to 600 hours, you still save a substantial amount of money.
Right. It saves us money, it saves us time, it saves the citizens
Absolutely.
time, big time.
I'd much rather get my beach pass that way. I know that we order on Amazon, what's the big deal? Now you're just gonna get a QR code, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah,
You can even take a picture of it and bring it.
yeah.
I think most people are forgetful by nature, so the automatic renewal for me
Absolutely.
is dynamite.
And we can't, you know, we have to be sensitive to the people that are dealing in this world. And we'll help the people that aren't. You know, we can't go backwards and try to move forward.
Especially if that renewal happens in December before the year comes.
We can set it up when to send it, yeah. If the chief or Rich or Eric or any of the town board members want, you know, have more questions, we can set you up with a call with the company itself. So then any questions maybe that we cannot answer, we can set you up with them and they can answer the questions.
And
They-
Ray, I was gonna say, even with towns that are using it, you know, if you wanna call those towns and see
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there are any glitches, it's even better, because the company is gonna sell you on everything.
Right.
The towns that are successful with it are gonna tell you, you know, what the up and down side is.
Yeah, we always
then-
check with the towns because, like I said, we were going with this passport system. Brookhaven did it and they didn't like it. I don't know if, did he get back to you? So that's why we were moving forward with passport. We like passport, but we heard there was too many issues, so we found
Smart.
GoGov, so it worked out.
Good research.
So the 5,000 flat fee,
Yeah, it's like 5,500, and it's, flat fee for the year.
and they'll basically build our own portal to do all of this?
Yes.
Yeah. They make it totally unique to the town of Riverhead.
commercials?
Yes.
Good, so there's no licensing?
No.
Good.
Yeah, we'll make sure whoever needs it in law enforcement has the, credentials to get on the
And we're
system.
gonna have the PD and code receive training on this.
Yes,
Is
definitely.
has that been worked out?
Well, GoGov said they'd be happy to, help with that, and then I'm also happy to help with that
Okay,
as well.
so we can set that up with Chief and Rich. Great. Sounds like a good initiative, thank you.
One last question on the QR codes, Ray.
Yep.
This would be a one-time thing, right, we said? So use the QR code as a receipt and get scanned at the booth or recreation, and they be issued the sticker. Does the system eliminate this QR code, right? So one
Yeah,
guy who
if
does
you go,
that-
if they take it to the beach, and, oh, let me get another one at the recreation office with the same QR code, it eliminate, you can't do it.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Great.
great work.
Thank you. Thanks for hearing us out.
Moving forward, it's always
Yes,
good.
with technology. All right, thank you, everyone, and this is gonna conclude our discussion items.
I do have some updated deer stats.
Oh, you did get,
44
Yeah, I just wanna
for
see his
November and
take.
December, state of VA deer.
44.
44.
So that's 44 cars that got into accidents. Wow, that's a
That we
lot.
know of.
That we know of, because not everything gets reported.
how many were critical?
That we don't know either.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Chief, I have that information we spoke about this morning. This is the contact
that's
person.
a lot of cars.
If you can visit him.
I lost a car to it, so I understand.
We closed on the property,
Yeah,
and
myself.
we're gonna start,
I didn't
we're
know.
gonna have team meetings, which you should be part of that team meetings also, relocation and all that. Well, be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move on to resolutions now, and Devin, can you please read the resolutions?
I'm ready if you guys are.
Good morning, yes,
Good
we
morning.
are.
Okay. Resolution number 1, approve special event, Chapter 255 application for AAECF Inc. Concert Series. Resolution number 2, authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Arrows Cultured Oyster Company to allow the installation of floating upweller systems Flupsy in East Creek.
This is our friend Karen Rivara.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Arrows.
great.
Yeah,
That's
they,
great.
good company.
Yep.
Good.
Number 3, authorize the supervisor to execute agreement Nunk-Pro-Tunk to extend agreement with Fundamental Business Service. Number 4, accepts the resignation of an automotive equipment operator. Number 5, authorizes execution of agreement with Seed Clam Administrator. Number 6, approves special event Chapter 255 application for East End Arts Summer Soiree. Number 7, adopts a local law to amend Chapter 301 Zoning and Land Development, Article 39. Frank, thank you. Planned Industrial Park PIP Zoning Use District. Number 8, extends bid for generator maintenance. Number 9, extends bid Nunk-Pro-Tunk for liquid sludge removal. Number 10, awards bid for e-waste collection and recycling. Number 11, extends bid contract for water meters and accessory equipment for use in the Riverhead Water District. Number 12, reauthorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for defreezed pump station control panel replacement. Number 13, appoints part-time traffic control specialist. Number 14, authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Constance Monette for court reporter services. Number 15, authorizes attendance at GFOA Annual Conference. Number 16, approves transfer of funds for the Suffolk County fiscal year 2021 and 2022 Community Development Block Grant Funds. Number 17, 203-213 East Main Street Site Plan Application, SECRA ENB, Notice 203-213 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129-1-17, 18, 19, and 20. And we have Planner Greg Bergman here. He's available to answer any questions on that if you guys have any. And number 18, appointment and approval of the fee schedule for Rayner Group PE and LS PLLC as consulting engineers and land surveyors.
Devin, maybe for the public, maybe Greg should come up and
Sure.
explain that. Thanks, Greg. Thank you, Deb, for allowing me to interrupt them.
All right, thank you. So this is a clarification on the resolution. Last month, when I brought the new revised plans for the 203, 213 East Main Street project, being that I'm kind of the second set of hands that's touching this application, I went and looked through the record just to ensure that we were following all the procedures. And I did notice that there were requisite notices under SECRA that were never posted to the New York State DEC's Environmental News Bulletin.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth noting that when this application was initially submitted, public scoping was not required under SECRA. We did have on that application, the town board did issue a positive declaration. There was a public scoping session which was held. We received comments from the public on that application. The town board did adopt a final scope to be used for the preparation of a DEIS. The applicant in, I believe it was July of 2019, submitted a draft environmental impact statement. That was reviewed by Jeff Seaman. He was hired as an outside environmental consultant. In September of 2019, their draft environmental impact statement was deemed inadequate for public review and was not accepted. So what this resolution is going to allow us to do is it's going to authorize the planning department to send the notice to the New York State DEC Environmental News Bulletin. It will post the notice that the final scope has been adopted. It's basically a recitation of facts. So, it allows us to correct the record, and I did go over it with the town attorney's office. It allows us to correct that omission in the record. It will bring us up to date with the ENB posting. And again, we will, when the applicant does submit a revised draft environmental impact statement, it will have to be deemed adequate by this board, and there will be a public hearing on that document. So the public has been involved up until this point, and the public will still have a chance to review and comment on those documents.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, so number 19, authorize the supervisor to execute amendment to lease agreement between the Riverhead Water District and New York SMSA Limited Partnership DBA Verizon Wireless. Number 20, amend salaries for general fund employees. Number 21, authorizing the supervisor to execute change order number 3, upgrade of the sewage treatment plant contract G, general and mechanical construction, Calverton Sewer District, and we have Michael Reichel here, and he's going to just briefly overview what this is for you guys. He can articulate it a lot better than I can.
Okay, what this is, it's a reduction in the total cost of the project. There was $15,000 plus of unused cash allowance in the project itself, and we just need to show the Environmental Facilities Corp, who provided the funding for this, that of the correct amount of the total contract, because the original contract was included the allowance, the cash allowance, but we didn't use it, so now the numbers changed. It's pretty straightforward, but it's just a numbers thing that they want to keep track of.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Okay, Deb?
Okay. Number 22, encumbers funds from 2022 for environmental review for Riverhead Logistics Center. Number 23, ratifies authorization for supervisor to execute a professional services agreement with Dr. Martin R. Cantor. Number 24, ratifies the promotion of a highway labor crew leader. Number 25, authorizes the filing of an application for New York State assistance from the Household Hazardous Waste HHW State Assistance Program and signing of the associated state contract under the appropriate laws of New York State. Number 26, authorizes application for funding through the U.S. Department of Transportation RAISE 2022 grant funding.
And last year, we came very close. I think we were number 2 in receiving this grant. And I know the CDA is working really hard. I was in Albany, this was discussed, and we will see what happens in the summer. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Devin.
Number 27, authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 291 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Water. And we have our water superintendent, District Superintendent Frank Mancini here. He's going to briefly chat about this one as well.
Thank you. It's Frank Mancini of the Riverhead Water District. This codifies the water restrictions we put in place 2 years ago that were recommendations. So requires odd and even watering if you're a resident, and if you have a large common watering area like a big community, then we want you to do it every other day. There's also a small, we don't want anybody watering from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. When we first put it out, we had another time blacked off during the day, but we contacted the Long Island Irrigation Association. We work with them, and we gave up that second half. It really wasn't that important to the water district. That was a restriction later on in the day. And then it has some other prohibited acts, like you can't, if you have water pouring into the road, we want you to stop it. And that, the driver for that is sprinkler heads being broken. A lot of times the sprinkler head's broken, mostly in like a master metered mobile home park or something, and it's firing off into the road. And not only is it a waste of water, but we're getting called for water main breaks all the time. So this puts some leverage behind us to say, hey, could you just fix that or isolate that head? If you're using a hose water, so you got to have a way to control it, just not an open hose. And it gives I can recommend to the supervisor to declare a water emergency. If we have some kind of issue, God forbid, you know, something happens to our wells or something, we would have the authority to call a water emergency. So our action we would take there was to isolate individual irrigation accounts, and we wouldn't create a public health hazard. We prepare for that every summer by identifying those valves.
This is what you met with Mark Hobner and
Yeah,
George
this came out of the
Bartnick.
environmental
Yeah.
committee. They were really following through with Andrea and myself for a couple
A lot
of
of
months.
common sense to this.
Yeah, there was, and we backed off of some other things that we thought were maybe too aggressive and maybe just overreach of government. So I thought we landed in a really good spot, and this is a good reminder to say this year we start our tiered rate, where after 90,000 gallons of usage for the normal homeowner, we're going to charge you a higher rate. That's quite a bit of irrigation. You can still irrigate, but we're just asking you to be a little more conscious of it. To put it in perspective, today we probably will pump about 3 million gallons of water, and in the summer, our peak day last year was 19.6 million. So the amount of water we produce in the summer due to outdoor water usage is enormous. So we're just trying to rein that in, but we still want you to be able to have a lawn and irrigate.
So I know that it applies a lot of this is inspired by irrigation, but people filling up their pools, people using their hose for whatever other slip and slides or whatever. This applies to every use of water.
Of outdoor use, yeah.
Outdoor use.
Any water, really.
Yes.
And like I said, we're not trying to keep you from irrigating, but you really should be irrigating less frequently and longer for small amounts of time.
Sure,
So
and I'm
people-
not advocating against slip and slides,
Yeah.
believe me.
Yeah.
But Frank, I also see a lot of sprinkler systems going on when it's raining out.
That's prohibited too.
I mean, that's
So,
just crazy.
we want you, nobody wants to do that. And really the driver here, the tiered rate is gonna help rein this in, because that's what's been happening
Make people
throughout.
conscious.
Yeah.
And I think they're the biggest, what do you mean, like aggressors. They're the ones that are totally off base here. You know, they're the
Yeah.
ones that all these problems come from.
Yeah, it is, and I don't think they do it maliciously. I think in many cases.
It's too many layers
you
of
just don't
management
know
or something,
You don't
yeah.
know.
Right.
And the irrigation companies have been helpful to us because ultimately they sell you things like smart controllers, rain sensors, and do the work to install it. So it wasn't obvious to me that when we first did that not codified, but these water restrictions as a recommendation, that they called and contacted me. I deal with them from Long Island Water Conference here from time to time, but they went out of their way to contact me, and they put me in contact with local irrigation companies. And that, I was educated myself as to maybe some of the things we could make better here, and some of the products that people can use to help. And in something with the environmental committee we're working on is, they're gonna give me some of Glynis's last rain sensors and smart controllers. So we're gonna hand them out to big users, and the only thing you gotta do is give us your, access to your water billing information, so we can analyze that and figure out what works the best and how you ultimately save the most money. And we did, the first thing we ever did was town parks, was smart controllers and rain sensors with Steve McKay. So we're doing it too, because we want to save money for the town, and we want to use water efficiently, but it's not like you drive around and see our parks not looking nice. So you can have it, you can have your plants and stuff. You just got to be a little bit more mindful of the water that you use.
And Frank, I see here that it's effective immediately. How are we gonna notify these communities, especially when they're gonna have an increased rate?
The rate, every bill is gonna have the rate restructure on it, and you can always go to our website, which has it on it, and call the water district. This is the first real exposure the public has to the codified version of we've been sending out our restrictions every year, but they had no teeth to them. This codifies it.
Yes, but how do we let the public know?
Fred, didn't we talk about, and we're gonna confer with Robin, we're gonna include it in the mailer?
Yeah, we may, it is on, it's gonna
Thank
be
you.
on the back of the bill, but we're pricing out, sending out individual pieces of paper with the bill. Now that we have our new billing software, we can send out
Great,
full pages of paper.
and let the public know, and
Yeah.
I think that'll
Yeah,
help a lot.
we will.
Great.
I think it's a lack of education more than anything.
Well, you'll educate them
Yeah.
through the mail,
Like you said.
you know? Great.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. All right, Devin, can you continue, please?
Okay, just a couple more. Number 28, appoints a Justice Court Director. Number 29, reappoints member to the Town of Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals. And number 30, appoints a part-time clerk to the Riverhead Recreation Department.
Great. Thank you, Devin. This is going to conclude our open session. In a moment, I'm going to ask you for a first and a second to enter into executive session to discuss one matter concerning litigation, matters surrounding Oak Hills Homeowners Association, and that will be with our town attorney, Eric Howard. Everyone, please be safe.